strength. It's not just about lifting bars. It resides within every unique journey. This is To The Bar, strength in every story. We're a community, a platform where stories meet strength. Our podcast is the result of our passion for weightlifting. From the first lift to the last, we're here to bring you the latest weightlifting news, to unravel the intricacies of the sport that will make you want to grab a barbell and hit the platform. This is To The Bar, strength in every story. And now for today's show.
I'm going to say, welcome to the bar.
Thank you. Every single time. So, at the English Championships this weekend in Birmingham, having a great time. Let me just do that.
Sort your microphone out.
Sort the microphone out, because you won't be able to hear me, which is probably a good thing. Long couple of days so far, even though we only did 3 sessions yesterday. So Friday, we got there for midday-ish, I had a weigh-in. Yeah. And then had a couple of sessions, marshalling.
Yeah, there were longer sessions in the evening though, weren't they?
Yeah. Highlights so far for you?
Oh, I mean, there's been quite a lot. I think, so I've done a lot of marshalling. I've only done 1 session of reffing. And I suppose highlights, would be men's 89, 81 that I've just done.
So that was Saturday today that we've just literally come back off.
Yeah, so marshalling that, just watching all the coaches and the way the athletes sort of try and one up one another, and that in the back room, I think that's really probably my favourite place to be.
Yep.
But then so I've only reffed the 1 session, and that was the women's. It's gone already. 55, 59.
That was with Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron, Jess, Gordon Brown, and Zoe Pablo Smith were in that group. None of them were my highlights, unfortunately, although they are all great. It was that young girl, Eliza.
So I've yet to post a video of you doing the medalling.
Oh, we're not. That's not going anywhere. No.
The star of the show, handing the medals out to the winners.
They should have to ask you if you want to do that before they make you do it.
Do they just force you?
Yes.
Jump on you?
I did not want to do that.
Awesome.
Of course I didn't want to do that. Anyway.
So I came out and saw, because I was just coming back off the marshalling table, handing the papers back, and saw... Well, I couldn't. So there was Zoe in the middle, Jess, Gordon Brown on the right, and then there was a 10-year-old girl that I just sort of saw there. I was like, hold on a second, I can't remember being a youth comp as well, and she looked so young, and I'm like, what's going on? Yeah. And you came back off and said
she was incredible. Eliza, yeah, I can't remember her surname now, but she lifts for Resilience Weightlifting with Amy over there.
Good girl.
Just the way she moved was incredible, for that age, and the weight that she was lifting. She came bronze after Zoe and Jess Gordon, Olympians. Yeah, it was incredible.
She's 15?
I think so. 15, I'm pretty 16? Sure 15, yeah. She broke her own snatch record and her own total record.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, in English as well, with seniors. Yeah. Didn't phase her.
No. I mean, she tried to kill me with a barbell. The second snatch. She came off the platform and sort of threw the barbell like the refs. I know quite a lot of lifters wish they could do that. I almost think that's probably what was more impressive, was that she had this sort of big fuck up really, and then came back completely composed, nailed the next lift, and came back for the clean and jerks fine as well. It was really impressive to watch her lift alongside lifters, quite a lot older than her and a lot more experienced than her, and hold her own really well.
So wise head on young shoulders.
And then I came and stalked her on Instagram, or found her on Instagram, and I think she does circus, acrobats, stuff like that.
Again, it's that whole gymnastics thing, for the females coming through.
Yeah, and I'm not shocked, because the position she got into for the snatch, now I know that she does that sort of stuff, so I think now that makes sense.
Yeah.
Great.
Interesting, because you mentioned that, because Ramiro, who I think we've just missed, he might be listening to this evening.
I thought it was tomorrow.
I'm hoping it's tomorrow. In fact, I think it is, because I might be reffing him. But he was in the Cuban circus, which is how he ended up here. Long story. That's a different different podcast. But yeah, so again,
Circus is the way to go.
well, yeah, like when he's got a couple of mates, and so when you see him just, at a comp, if his mates are around, they're just, he's standing on Ramiro's shoulders and he's trying to press him out, over it.
I've seen him do this before at lower. I remember being really confused as to what's going on.
So strong.
Yeah,
but
makes sense.
Hence, yeah.
And what about you? Highlights?
So I've been marshalling a lot. So I haven't done any reffing. So I've seen quite a few of the warm-ups. That's been quite good. But again, I love the whole sort of vying with the coaches, sort of playing the games and trying to force people out. And there was a instance today that whether you agree with it or not, if you're the coach trying to medal a lifter, so one of the girls missed her first two, I think it was first two clean and jerks, was then that brought out another girl, and the coach just knew that she waited for the time to start, then changed the weight, which forced the other girl back out, missed the 2 minute clock, and so she went out on a minute clock instead. And unfortunately, she bombed, bombed out of the comp because of that. So interesting how you see them play the games, but if you've got a chance to get your athlete on a podium, then you got to do it, really.
Yeah, for sure. Like I say, that's my favourite bit. Watching this lifter that I haven't seen before. His name was Lucas Lakin, something like that. And his coach was doing the same thing today in amongst Ed Smale and Chris Murray, and just trying to game it really and make the changes at the last possible minute to try and get as high a total as possible. And that's the fun for me when you're on the marshals table, for sure. Yeah.
And you had a good group for that, didn't you? With Chris Murray, there's Stefano in there as well. I was watching from a distance, and my eyesight's obviously going. And I saw Chris Murray warming up, and everyone else, like loads of people were still, just like putting some serious weight on for the clean and jerks, getting ready for that. I'm like, who's the guy that's still doing the snatching? And I'm like, oh, that's Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that some people had finished before Stefano and Chris put anything on their bar to warm up. Yeah, it was.
But no, another one, I think, for me, because I was doing a few of the weigh-ins as well, Nick Canavan came in, and it's great when you see, like, I guess for people like Chris and Stefano and, Jess and Zoe, all these people that the English and the British become a bit of a routine.
Yeah, staple.
Yeah, it's their sort of bread and butter. It's what they sort of use as a nice warm-up comp for the bigger ones. But Nick got a bit of a late call-up, came into the weigh-in room, and his energy when he came into the weigh-in room, he was buzzing. Couldn't be happier to be here. And it was like, do you know what? It just makes it, gives it a really good feeling when you know that lifters like that appreciate the call up to an English, and they're excited for it. And he went out and smashed I can't remember what it
147.
was. 147 clean and jerk.
Yeah.
And he looked like he absolutely loved it. So
we've reffed him a couple of times, haven't we? I think we've reffed him a couple of times at WIT, and he's always got that energy. Yeah. He always seems like really excited to be on the platform. Yeah. It's nice. I like lifters like that.
Yeah.
That's my favourite. Well, one of my favourite. Everything's my favourite thing, lifting. But when they come off the platform and they've done something like that, and their joy, when it's real, true joy.
Yeah, well,
there's nothing better than that.
Saw the post that he put up. I think it was the Grip and Rip guys that posted it. But literally smothered the two coaches that he was with. Really nice to see. Yeah, indeed. But we had a chance to catch up with Matt, the CEO of British Weightlifting as well.
Yeah.
So he's got a few plans that we're actually got a podcast coming up with him soon. But he was saying also that one thing that we've introduced this weekend is sort of a mandatory or freebie 5 minutes in between the clean and jerk, between the snatch and the clean and jerk.
Yeah.
So for those of you who aren't aware, it's 6 and below. For lifters, you would get a 10-minute break between the two, so you get, you're not literally just coming off and just, doing your last snatch and then going and doing a clean and jerk, which is my trick because my clean and jerk's not as good as my snatch. Anything over that, you just go straight through. So now we get the compulsory sort of 5-minute break between the two, which is quite nice.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. And 5 minutes is probably not enough time for the refs to rush off and go for a quick loo break or grab a sandwich or something like that.
No, and if you're on the marshals table, you can't leave anyway.
No.
So
it's a prolonged 5 minutes for me.
Yes, yeah. Certainly when you've got the big group like the groups we've just done today.
Yeah,
14
lifters.
Long 5 minutes.
12 lifters, yeah.
Yeah. But it's the consistency, I suppose, at least then the coaches know what to expect. And yeah. And it's not like we haven't been at a comp where an athlete has come out as the last one on the snatch and the first one on the clean and jerk. So
yeah, so you and Mester did that when earlier this year. So that would probably be in the British. No, I can't remember what it was. But he literally
straight in, straight out.
Straight in, straight out.
Yeah, there was another lifter I saw from Scotland, Ashley. I can't remember her surname now. She lifts from Marvellous.
Yeah.
She did it. It was actually incredible. It was one of my favourite things to have seen at the British was her nail that first clean and jerk. But yeah.
And she didn't even have a warm up, did she?
No, she didn't. She literally came off from the snatch, stood in the little wing bit because I was technical controller, stood literally just behind me, and we got them to sweep the platform just to give her
a bit of time.
Like 30 seconds. And our coach just calmed her down. She sort of composed herself and went straight out, and it was heavy. It was a heavy clean. It was heavy for me. A heavy clean and jerk. She didn't even warm up her front rack with a dowel. It was incredible.
God,
yeah.
I just feel my wrists going already.
No, she nailed it.
That's awesome.
She nailed it, yeah. I still see it floating around on Instagram. It gets shared quite regularly.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. But, I mean, on top of that, it's at FITFEST, which is, I mean, when you walked in, I don't know whether people have been watching it or when I walked in, and obviously the NEC is a ginormous venue, but it is just jaw-dropping when you see all the size of it all. There's British rowing there, there's strength in depth.
Athletics.
Bless you.
I know.
Athletics. And then loads of stalls. And the great thing, of course, is the amount of people. And I came back off because, of course, when you're doing the marshalling and you're sort of stuck in the middle bit, you don't really see what's going on. And I'd been there since it opened, and so I didn't really see. And as I came around, and I was just gobsmacked at the amount of people because the traffic. So as you come through, you're basically hitting the red platform, the main platform for British weightlifting, the front door. Yeah. And so the traffic, footfall is literally just stopping and watching the lifting and then moving on a bit, when the next lifter's gone. So it's great. It's a really good advert. How Matt and the British weightlifting team have managed to sort of get that prime spot is awesome. So fair due to them.
Yeah, it worked really well. The women's group that I refed had, like we said, it had Aaron and Jess Gordon-Brown and Zoe Smith in it.
Yeah.
And the speaker was obviously referencing their Commonwealth success or their Olympiad. And the amount of people that were coming through the door and stopping to see them lift because of what was being said by the commentator, you wouldn't get that anywhere else. Yeah. Okay, so.
Yes.
Yeah, so you shared on the Instagram story the update from British Weightlifting recently about the change in the number of referees for Tier 3 and potentially Tier 1 and Tier 2 comps.
Yep.
What do you think about that? Straight in.
What do I think of it?
Start with the Tier 3.
Tier 3.
One ref for Tier 3.
So, do you want my opinion of why I think they're trying to do it first, or do I think it's a great idea? I don't think it's a good idea, me personally. I can see the benefits, so I can see. So a classic example. So I was talking to one of the other TOs today whilst I was doing the marshalling, and his name is Mark. Got to remember his name, but he was saying that he's off tomorrow back to Staffordshire weightlifting, doing the age groups. And so he was saying that a load of clubs are running comps this weekend, and this is one of the things that I said about the piece of the platform, what BWR do well and what they could improve on, calendar. This has just been not thrown in right at the last minute, but a lot of club comps have been arranged for this weekend, and now because BWL of course needed the TOs, a lot of the club comps are suffering because they don't have TOs. So again, this is a plead to all the coaches and athletes out there, if you can TO, if you want to qualify, contact BWL and get qualified, because we're crying out for them.
Yeah.
And a classic example is this weekend, all the club comps are suffering. So I can see where it can help, so that for tier 3 we can now just have the single centre ref, and that would help. I don't think you should be able to break records, which is a poll I guess that BWL are doing at the moment. I mean, I'll come on to the reasons in a bit, but I think it's probably not a good idea to do that. I still think that we should be encouraging more TOs than switching. Switching the rules. I think it should be. We just want to try and get that community. I think British weightlifting. I think still the actual clubs need to step up a bit, and the lifters. It's if you want the sport to thrive and if you want the comps to carry on, you've got to give a bit more back than just turning up and doing your lifts. It's your responsibility to keep the love in the sport and to keep it going. Tier 1, definitely not. I don't get it.
No, I would struggle to agree to be the ref, to be honest, for tier 1. If it was only one ref, I wouldn't do it, I don't think.
Yeah.
No, it's a lot of pressure anyway when there's 3 of you. And especially when there's big groups, we've just been talking about mine had 12, yours had 14. If you think you're the only referee and there's 6 lifts per athlete, 60, you're looking at like 80 lifts where you're the sole judge. I don't know. I think that's way too much pressure. And I think it opens a lot of space for the lifters to get frustrated. Because at least when somebody gets done for a press out and it's 3 reds, I mean, they will argue with it, but how do you argue with that? 3 different people have all said, no, mate, you pressed out. This one person,
opens the door to...
Yeah, and I've been the one person that's hit the red when the other 2 have hit the white before, and then you sit there and think, oh, maybe I was wrong, or maybe they were wrong, and it doesn't really matter, because the point of having 3 is the majority rules. Yeah. So when you take the majority away, I don't know, it just makes me uncomfortable. The tier 1. Yeah. Tier 3, I understand. I sort of think tier 3 is fine, because you've got the caveat of it being a level 3 ref. So it's not somebody that's, it's somebody that should be experienced enough to be able to sort of deal with that at tier 3. But again, I don't agree that you should be able to set records unless you've got 3 refs. Yeah. You should be able to put a tier 3 comp on, have 3 TOs, levels 2 and 3 combined, and set records there, but not if you've only got 1 ref.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the interesting thing from the poll was that, the largest, the consensus was it's 3 refs. Because,
70 odd people, right?
Yeah.
Voted on that, yeah.
Yeah, and again, we're trying to, it's the person at the centre of the tournament, they're the lifters.
Yeah.
We're trying to make this as fair as possible for them, and I think in reducing that, the majority of 3, just doesn't really give them that benefit. No. We had a comp recently at Fort, the strength.
London Strength.
London Strength, and I, howler of a mistake, lack of concentration, press out in the snatch of all things, and looked over at you because I knew I'd made a mistake, and you're condescending,
I did not.
Glaring at me, and I was like, I can't believe I just let that go.
I purposely tried not to give you a judgmental look.
Yeah. No. But it's easy to do.
We'd been there all day, and it's noisy, and there was a bloody disco light shining in my eyeballs. And these things happen. That's the point of having 3. Yeah, absolutely. I've lost count of the amount of times I've had a conversation with another ref, and it's been, was it a press out or was it shoulder wobble? So that the point of having 3. Yeah, but to give BWL their due, it's like you say, there's not enough TOs.
Yeah.
And it's not like they have tried. And I'm sure there are other things that they can do to try and get more TOs in, but they have tried.
Yeah.
And, we went to the AGM recently, didn't we? The virtual annual meeting, and they said there were 3,000 lifters across Britain that were registered with BWL. How many TOs do we see after that?
Yeah, we need more.
Little plea for a step up there.
Yeah, we need more TOs.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and it might happen actually if you've got tier 3 clubs that are able to host a comp, host a tier 3 comp with just one ref. They might be more inclined to, qualify their lifters or their staff.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like a longer term thing that though, because obviously they then have to get to level 3.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
So I've got another thing I wanted to talk about.
Go on.
So I keep on getting emails from the who is it? Anti-doping people.
Yeah, International Testing Agency.
And I'm like, I don't understand how I got this. How did they get my email address? And then you kindly explained that you'd signed me up for it.
Yes, yeah.
But one of the new... Thank you. But one of the emails I got yesterday or the day before was that they are doing their retrospective tests on, what was it? Rio. The Rio Olympics. Priority being those that will be lifting in Paris of next year, which is great. And I do wonder.
I know, I'm a little bit anxious.
Wonder because, of course, every year, they come up with new ways to sort of catch people out, do the retrospective tests. And so it's going to be interesting. I know it would be great. I really want to see this sport cleaned up.
Yeah.
So it would be good to see. Well, hopefully, none get caught.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Slight tangent, but UCADA didn't show up this weekend, I haven't seen them.
My?
UCADA. They didn't show up, did they?
I've not seen them.
Because they had the room.
Yeah, they got the room, but I haven't seen them.
I know, because it's up to them if they turn up or not, and they just have to provide the space. BWL just provide the space. So but they've not... I haven't seen them, no, you haven't either.
No.
I suppose they could arrive tomorrow. Don't know.
Sunday for the last day.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they have to be there for the whole thing. Because is it fair to only test one group? See, I need to pin somebody down to answer me these questions.
Yeah.
So many questions
We've
about
been
the
trying to get hold
stuff.
of them, haven't we, for a while. But,
I'll find some media contact somewhere that's going to talk to me.
But yeah, so that's interesting. And I would like to, I hope that there's no one gets caught.
Yeah.
But I do suspect there might be some...
If they're doing retrospective, they'd only really be testing for anything that they've then since added since 2016, right? Because they'd have been drug tested then. So, I mean, we've talked about it a million times, but SARMs is going to be a big one that was not tested for back then.
Yeah. And better ways of testing things. And
yeah. True, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting times. Cool.
What's that out for?
So, when was it? It was the World's... Tarosky, wasn't it? That came out with...
The grip strength.
The grip strength of news.
When was it?
Something like that.
It must have been Worlds.
Yeah. And so, I've had this for ages. Because there was a doctor on the TV, one of those celebrity doctors.
Yeah.
And yeah, strangely enough, he was going on about how grip strength reduces blood pressure, heart rate, something. And I thought, that's an interesting thought. And so I thought, well, I'll measure my grip strength and then see how training goes and sort of see if it improves. So I bought it, and it's been sat there for years doing nothing. So I thought we could try it, because what we're going to try and do is go around and see people and ask them to answer a few quick fire questions. How many refs? 3 or 1? And by the way, 3 or 1, and those people that said none.
Yeah. And we saw your name, so we know who you are.
Yeah, just stay in the gym. Don't come to comps then. So yeah, we're going to be asking questions, but we're also going to get them to do this. Yes. And some of the people that we're going to be interviewing, so like Matt, will be getting him to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So I thought we could start the leaderboard, and we're not going to rip a certain car program off that had a leaderboard.
Oh, no, I absolutely am.
Oh, we are?
No, I am, yeah.
We're just going to call it Top Grip.
Yes. Done. It's a top grip. Yeah, done.
Okay, let's do it. So you can go first.
I already did this when I was much stronger. God, I don't have any grip strength.
Do you need to stand up for this?
I feel like I'm going to get a better purchase stood up here. Listen, I'm going to stand up. Move.
All right.
Because show myself up now. Right, okay.
You can squeeze it.
Fuck off. Oh. Yeah, it was 49.8 before.
Well, that's not bad.
So weak now.
44.6. That's not bad. Right. Here we go. I'm going to be shit at this.
Go on.
God, jeez. 54.
Nice.
I'm alright with that. I'm happy with that.
That's better than last time.
Was it?
Yeah.
What did I get last time?
I'm sure it was 53 because I got 49. I was like, nah. Nah, look.
54. Happy days. Right. We'll be seeing. There's definitely not going to be any lashes out there getting 90 or 100 odd. What did he get? 100 something?
100 something. I'm going to be redoing mine though.
Okay.
I'm going to periodically redo it.
Oh yeah,
to
definitely.
Move myself up the scale.
Yeah, reduce that heart
Yeah.
blood pressure.
Also, I read something ages ago about grip strength being a good measure for recovery, RPE, so you do it first thing in the morning. I can't remember where I read it. It was some journal.
Okay. So yeah, there we go.
Lovely, right.
We'll do follow up.
Yeah, so we've got one more day.
One more day.
It's a full-on day tomorrow.
I'm reffing, so I'm looking forward to a bit of that.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Marshalling as well.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Probably marshalling. Always end up marshalling. So yeah, it's a full day tomorrow. 9 till late.
Oh, yeah.
The last one starts at 5 to 5. But it's going to be good. It's going to be a good day.
Oh yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a good day. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, we'll probably just come back and give a little overview on that.
Yep. So from us and the flamingo
Yeah, speak to you in a bit.
and El Monkey. It's
I like
alright.
that monkey.
Right. So welcome back to part 2.
Yeah, welcome back to the bar.
Yep. Thank you.
You're all right, yeah. Obviously, we're in the exact same location.
Yeah. Hold on. There we go. That's what we should have done.
Nothing has changed.
Nothing's changed.
But yeah, so we are home now from the English. So the first half of this episode was from our Airbnb in Birmingham, and this half is now back London way.
Yep.
Yeah, busy weekend.
Yeah, it was long. What day is it today? Monday,
No,
isn't it?
Tuesday. It's
Tuesday.
definitely not Monday.
No, it is Tuesday because
Yeah.
I was at work yesterday. So yeah, that shows you how long it was. I can't even remember what my name is. But yeah, great weekend. And so we did the part 1 on Saturday.
Saturday afternoon. So we recapped Friday, Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah, and then so Saturday afternoon we had grand plans, didn't we, of getting some footage and then doing the podcast. And we got the podcast, less footage.
Yeah.
It was very busy, and we always get distracted, don't we? We're talking to people.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really nice.
I think it's just a tribute to the weightlifting community as much as we harp on about it. It's so nice seeing everyone, all the coaches, the athletes, and you strike up such a great relationship with them all. So yeah, it's inevitable that you just end up stopping and
all the
chatting
time.
non-stop.
Sure, it's nice though, and what I noticed this time around is there were quite a few people that I only knew from Instagram that I then got to speak to, and then really that I only knew from the To The Bar Instagram. Some of the masters lifters, I think, so like Sam Drammer from Psych and Swati from Breathe, Lift, Repeat on Instagram. I only really know them through To The Bar, but being that sort of growing into talking to one another at comps is really nice.
Yep. Yeah, and certainly some of the sort of the youth that's coming through.
Yeah.
It's great to see them, after some of the youth games or the championships, sort of strutting the stuff on the seniors sort of stage at English and British, and certainly for this weekend with the English. Good seeing them there as well.
But yeah, it was good. So then this half of the episode, we haven't talked about Sunday.
Super Sunday.
So it was a super Sunday as well because it was long.
Yeah, long, but records just
it was amazing,
fell, didn't they?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Insane.
Really good. I mean, the whole thing was good, but the Sunday really felt special for that. Yeah, it did. Saturday felt good for the amount of people that was there. I feel like the Saturday was busier for FITFEST.
Yeah.
Which is odd because the elite lifters or the elite athletes were at the CrossFit event on the Sunday, so I thought the Sunday was going to be busier. But for the weightlifting, I think the Sunday, for me, felt really special.
Yeah, and it was, I mean, for those that were there, I don't know how, I think I may have said this before, but the location that BWL had got, that sort of red platform.
Yeah.
It was, you walk through the entrance, FITFEST, and it's just
right
there. It was right there in front of you. So the footfall in front of the that stage, that platform,
so good.
was brilliant. They had to go to left past the red platform to get to the main CrossFit event.
Yeah.
So the amount of people that just stopped and watched, and I think we were saying that some of the speakers that we had as well, mentioning Commonwealth Games winner, gold medalist,
was pulling people in, wasn't it?
Of former Olympians, all this sort of stuff. It was it really stopped people in their tracks and looked, and then when you had the likes of Ramiro doing, was it 201 clean jerk?
201, yeah, incredible. Incredible scenes.
A record falls, and what a lifter.
Yeah.
Excited to see more of him.
But yeah, I mean, I think a testament to that is the on our Instagram, when we asked for people's highlights, I actually stopped sharing people that responded with the crowd or how many people were there, because so many people said it, which I think is lovely. I shared quite a lot of them, and then I thought, people might get bored of it, but I did want to share them all to sort of make the point that so many people had found it a highlight, really, that people that aren't there specifically for the weightlifting had stopped. And a lot of the footage that I did get, which wasn't much because we were quite busy, was of the crowds after a big lift, because it was really special having that many people there.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so Sunday, what were you doing Sunday?
Sunday, marshalling, and I got onto the referees, into the referees chair, which is great. So I was on the green platform.
Yep.
So that was the masters were lifting on the green platform that day. So I saw marshalling Holly
Women's 35,
and Chris, and there were a couple of others in there as well who did well. Fair play to Holly after a couple of weeks before bombing out on the snatches.
Yeah, well done, Holly.
She'll love me for mentioning that. But came back with vengeance and 3 excellent snatches. Yeah. And then Chris Campbell finishing it off with just, the way she
Chris is Chris, right?
Yeah. The way she gets underneath in the snatches, the way she just sits and just locks up.
It's incredible.
Really nice to watch. So, so it's the marshalling of the masters and refereeing as well. So it was good. I really enjoyed that.
Nice.
And then I came and joined you for the marshalling of the last session.
Yeah, because that was a big group, and it was a nice group to marshal, that one, wasn't it? It was women's 81, 87, 87 plus. And we had quite a few people in that group that we knew, didn't we? So it was nice to marshal them, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed that session a lot. So we had Alex Kay, you really like her as a lifter, don't you?
Yeah, really technically proficient.
Yeah, she's really nice to watch, Debbie Alawode was in that group. Who else was in there? I feel like there was more people in that group that we know.
Well, the 2 last lifters, but I can't remember their names.
Oh, Clementine. So we'd seen her at the British. So she lifted as a guest at the British. I think she lifted as a guest at the English as well. She didn't make weight. Okay. And her compadre, I can't remember her name.
Did she get bronze?
Busse. She got bronze
in the 2012
Olympics. Yeah.
And she came on and just smashed it out of the park.
It was incredible. She did the 115 snatch, didn't she?
Yeah. We watched her warming up whilst we were doing the marshalling, and
well, actually what happened was I was marshalling and I looked up and your jaw was on the table because you were watching her warm up.
The way she wasn't even, it was a muscle clean. It wasn't even a muscle clean because she just stood up with the bar and put it onto a front rack, and that was, I think it was 70 kilos.
It was
and
70,
she lifted it up like it was just the bar.
Yeah, because you said she's just muscle cleaned it, so I was watching. She put it down and then did it again, and you're right, it wasn't wasn't really a muscle clean, was it? Because
No.
she did literally just stand up and then sort of put it on her front back. She's just so strong.
Yeah.
It was interesting watching her not touch a bar for a really long time. We kept laughing, didn't we? Because they were just chilling in the back.
Sat there chatting
They
away.
were just hanging out while everyone else was getting ready. But obviously with Alex came Benedict and Chris Speed. They were coaching Alex. So
it's always
and Christian
a pleasure to see them.
with Debbie. Yeah, I'm trying to think who else was in that group. I know there was other people that we knew, but my mind's drawing a blank.
Oh, we had the British record under 17s from Resilience.
I don't think it was from Resilience. I think it was the GB lifter with Julie. I think it was
That's
Lottie.
right. Yes, Lottie.
Lottie Absalom.
Yeah.
I think in that group. Because we gave her a round of applause at the end, didn't we? Yeah. Yeah, she was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know, I've said that about so many of the lifters, but the quality of the lifting was really good.
Yeah.
It was a really good weekend for that.
Oh, and then of course, so we left early on the Saturday to come back and do the podcast, and then they had the para lifting.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
Para powerlifting, and my God, when we came in the next morning, and I can't remember who it was, but they said it was
Mark. I've forgotten his surname.
Yeah, 201. No, 200.
200 and something bench press.
Bench press. I mean bench.
Bench
Jeez.
press. Yeah, I know. Bench press.
It's
I've got no
isn't it?
comment for it.
No.
Bench
I can't even
press.
comprehend that.
But you know what? That's nice as well. I think it's really lovely that we had all of those events.
Yeah.
And I mentioned it on the Instagram story, and we talked about it at the time. But having the masters and the seniors, and in amongst the seniors, obviously you had some juniors.
Yeah.
All warming up in the same place.
Yeah.
Across the same platforms, in amongst one another. It was messy, and I really loved it.
Yeah.
It was really something to watch. I thought it was great. I really did.
Yeah.
And when we were
indeed.
talking to Matt Curtin, the BWL CEO, he was talking about the possibility in future of having lower walls around the warm-up area.
Just about to mention that. Yep.
Yeah, which I think there's a little bit of me that's like, no, don't do it, because I quite like that we get to see that and other people don't. And I sort of think if you want to see it, qualify as a TO and then please come back and watch it. But I also sort of think, less selfishly, that would have been great for people to watch, because it really is something special, that warm-up area. And I think the coaches and the athletes are so busy focusing on themselves, even they don't get to appreciate the whole thing like we do, like seeing them all in one space. So I think that's a great idea for future.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's when you see people like Christy and Julie, who've been around for quite a while, and certainly with working with British weightlifting, that when you see them, they're constantly watching what their lifters doing, what others are doing. They're always keeping an eye on the scoreboard.
There's so much to it.
So it's just so much. Juggling the balls just to they obviously don't get to sit back and take it all in.
Yeah.
Because they've just got lifter after lifter after lifter, don't they?
Yeah.
They don't stop all weekend.
Yeah. But then for me, I think that's why I love the Well, there's a lot of reasons why I love the Marshall's Table, but one of the reasons why I love the Marshall's Table is watching all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So this weekend as well, the likes of Cyril Martin being in there, being able to watch those people coaching in that sort of atmosphere and in that arena, I think's...
It was so funny watching
it's
Cyril.
really good.
Because he just... him and... God, I'm terrible with names.
Yeah, you're not great.
But I'll come back to that. But he was just sat there and just chilling out. The lifter would go out, and the other coach would go with him, go with the lifter, and so we'll just be sat there, just having a look around, not even paying attention to anyone. Just lifter would come back. He would hear whether it was a good lift or bad lift, and just go from there. And he would know. Yeah, didn't pull fast enough. It's just like, you were there. Just such experience.
Yeah, I was reffing Laura Wheatcroft, and he coached her, and I did see him come out for her, so I think that was sort of special. He was sort of hanging out, but yeah, it's great. I really like that, and I selfishly want to keep that for the TOs, but I do think it would be nice for the spectators to get to see all of that stuff too. So yeah. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were a lot of highlights on that Sunday.
Yeah.
So I got to I refed first thing, which I think was the 96ers. I think that was Ramiro, Myron Madden, Steve Bestman, all that stacked group, which is really good. It's really good. The only thing with those groups is because they all are chasing numbers because they're very strong. You do inevitably get a lot of reds, but the reds are usually missed rather than red lights from... Well, at least in that session, there were quite a lot of missed lifts, which is a shame. But it makes the likes of Ramiro's record right at the end then even more special, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a good group, and I think that was the group that had... Is his name Hutton? It's with North Tyneside Barbell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to go and find him at the end. Josh Hutton, yeah, I had to go and find him at the end and say it was really lovely to watch him, because I'm pretty sure he got a record as well. He might have got an under-23 record.
Yeah.
Or 2.
Yeah, lovely lad.
Maybe.
Is he with?
North Tyneside.
North Tyneside.
Yeah, I can't remember the coach's name, but he's always really pleasant, shakes our hands.
Don't
As
ask
a
me,
joke.
I've already established that I'm shocking with names at the moment.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but yeah, it's a lovely club. So yeah, that was my morning, was the 96ers. Then I feel like I marshalled, and then I refed 102, 109s. So that was Reza, and...
How did Reza get on?
He did his first 2 snatches, then withdrew from the third.
Okay.
And then...
He was coming back from a wrist injury, from what I remember. I mean, it was early, sort of halfway through the year, that I spoke to him, and he said he had a bit of an injury. I'm sure it was his wrist.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I feel like I want to get the start list up now to think who else was in that group. Because I remember coming back to you and saying, like, that was a hard group.
Well, you had the guy that fell over and nearly cracked his head open or something.
Oh, he was amazing, though. Dennis from Oldham Academy. Yeah, so he's the guy that came out, he almost missed his timer, and he came out of 4 seconds to go. 4 seconds to go. He came out behind the barrier, and his coach, I forget his name, he always speaks to you, pointed at the timer, and he legged it onto the platform. And his first snatch, or his first 2 snatches, he'd had this whole routine, you know, lifters do, they have their setups and their routines, and it had taken, a good 7 or 8 seconds. And you sort of saw him get to the bar and think, well, I've got no bloody time for that. And I'll be honest, I was sort of sitting there thinking, this is going to be a red. And then before I even had time to finish the thought, this is going to be a red, he'd snatched it and stood up with a smile on his face. And it was just really...
Awesome.
Not expected at all. Even Jo Calvino was doing the commentating, and she just went, well, who needs time? Not Dennis.
No.
So yeah. And then, he had a bit of a nightmare with his clean and jerks and fell backwards, dropped the bar, and his head hit the platform with a whack. Yeah, it was quite concerning, but he jumped up fine. I spoke to his coach afterwards and said he was all right, but yeah, that was a bit of a worry. And then there was other things in this group, so there was a young lad in there that I had never seen before. He was only 17, and he was lifting really quite heavy, and he came out for his last clean and jerk, and it was going to be a record attempt, and Jo had announced it at 30 seconds, did a reminder at 10 seconds, and then the kid walked out at 9 seconds, and the coach didn't... Well, maybe the coach spoke. From where I was sitting, the kid walked out, and I was thinking he was going to rush to the bar like Dennis had done, but he sort of leisurely wandered over to the chalk. And then the timer went as he was at the chalk, and it flashed up to say no lift, and he was understandably quite upset and sort of like, what's gone on? I don't think he knew that or maybe he did know, I don't know. I don't really understand what happened there, but he missed his chance, and I did feel really bad for him. It was a real shame. Yeah,
it's funny, isn't it? Because, I mean, there was a few new coaches that we saw, and it's always lovely seeing the new faces. And, obviously as as TOs, we help them as much as we can do. So certainly from the marshalling side, you know,
Yeah, always, yeah.
Turned up and like, you know, what are these bits of paper? What do I do? And so you give them as much help as you can do. 2-minute rule, the 1 minute rule, 1 minute clock, 30 seconds, and all that sort of stuff. And you really sort of guide them as much as you can do. But you do really feel that, you know, at some point when you've got a clock and it's counting down, if your coach hasn't giving you a kick up the backside to get you out there and shouting at you, you know.
Yeah, and
because obviously the refs, we can't do anything. Do that.
Yeah,
you know, you aren't allowed to say hurry up or put your feet in line or, you know, anything like that. It's,
and I did find, actually, this is something I did find myself doing that I probably shouldn't have done this weekend with some of the newer ones on the marshals table, when they were following themselves, was catching people's attention before that first 30 seconds went and saying, are you intending to make a change, just to try and get them to come and declare, because it's awful having to say no, you've missed your chance. And I think I was sort of probably protecting myself a little bit there and not wanting to have that conversation. But I'm sort of hoping that with some of these changes that Matt's doing and that BWL are sort of going through, and these championships, like the British felt incredible, didn't it? And the English actually felt amazing. That people are going to start, or coaches, athletes are going to start seeing these things for what they are, because it's a national championships.
Yeah.
So I will always help the coaches. Really, that's the point of us, is to help the coaches, the seasoned coaches, the new coaches. It doesn't really matter to me. Like, that's what we're there for. But similarly, I would sort of expect, if you're there to coach an athlete at a national championships, that you would have read the rules before you got there.
Yeah, that you were on the ball.
Yeah, because I had a couple of coaches on the marshals table when I did the blue platform on the Saturday just yell at me the weight change. And I think it was because they were panicked and they didn't have much time, and they were just saying, I want 93, I want 93. I can't do anything with that. You know, I didn't even know what lifter he was with at that point, because it was really early in the session. But he didn't know that he had to write it down on the score, on the athlete card, sign it, you know. So
yeah,
if you're at the English Championships, there is a little bit of responsibility there. And I think that must anyway.
Yeah.
Hopefully that changes.
Yeah, I'm sure it will do. And again, I think the great thing is that if the more new coaches we're seeing coming through, it obviously means that more people are coming into the sport.
Yeah, exactly, so, exactly.
It's obviously having a positive impact, and certainly with the FITFEST. And I mean, those guys are bloody nuts. I did a recording of just watching people doing burpees.
Burpee broad jumps. Burpee broad jumps, and they looked.
Just how they sound.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. And the athletes looked exactly how you would think as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, long day.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Sunday was amazing. I think I said on the Instagram again that, you know, it's a privilege really. That one session that I sat for had 7 British records in it.
Yeah. And that's...
It's centre ref for that. It's pretty... Yeah, great weekend. Really good.
Cool. So not only that, but Keith Morgan was one of the coaches that I was trying to mention with Cyril, and the other one from I can't remember his name now. I've forgotten it. It came to me and I've forgotten it again.
What, North Tyneside?
No. Well, and that anyway. But the other thing that's been going on whilst we've been gallivanting around Birmingham NEC. Was the Grand Prix in Qatar.
Yeah, IWF, yeah.
Yeah, and that has been pretty amazing. I think of all of the comps or the Grand Prix that we were expecting, I don't think we really expected that many of the guys to turn up and actually lift. I think we were probably expecting them to turn up, do the weigh-ins, and then bugger off again.
Yeah.
But we really did have. So for the on the men's side, we had Carlos Nazir turning up and doing a world record. No one's seen him for a while training, and then obviously he's been ramping up his training plan for next year. Mm-hmm. World record. Who else do we see?
Nino.
Yeah, he's back in good shape, so that's quite nice. Chinese lifter Shi
Yes.
Young, Shizu Young, he declined his last 2 clean and jerks, which I don't know whether suggests. It would be nice to think that that was more the case, that they've gone in with a plan. They don't care about the records, you know, or
Yeah.
you know, the first, second, third, because I think he came second behind Shurev's.
Oh yeah. The guy you like with the
from
shoulders. Yeah.
Yeah, who's coming back, and he's such a great lifter. Love seeing him. Declines his last 2 clean jerks. So whether or not that's an injury, or he's still feeling his back issue, or that they just went in with a plan, get a total and bugger off, which is good. And I think it's a lesson for everyone that competes a lot. You know, you don't have to enter all the competitions you see that get put out there, but if you do, go in with a plan and stick to it. Don't get blinded by, oh my god, I'm at a comp, I have to try and peak, or I have to smash it. You know, go in with a plan and stick to it.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because it just reminded me of Alex Cave when we marshalled. So she obviously withdrew from her last clean and jerk, because on her second clean and jerk she took silver, and there was no way she could take the gold. And her and her coach just sort of stood there and debated it, and Alex was like, hey, I'm happy with silver, I'm not doing any more.
Yeah,
and
why risk it?
Well, yeah, and I sort of watched it and thought, again, because I'd seen her at a tier 3 comp earlier in the month, and she'd just done the 1 clean and jerk, and I'd gone back and moaned at her and said that I was disappointed that I didn't get to see her lift anymore. So I had that initial thing of, But then I thought, yeah, do you know what? Good on her. She got what she wanted.
Yeah.
She placed. And she only had to do 2 lifts to place. I think that's pretty incredible, yeah. Good for her.
Yeah.
So, similar thing maybe.
Yeah.
Got what you needed.
Yeah, exactly. But also Kate Vibert was there.
Yeah.
Did amazingly well as again.
Yeah. Olivia Reeves. She's something else. Olivia Reeves.
So strong.
Yeah. Her legs. There's strength in them.
Yeah.
She did 115 snatch for a junior record.
And it was so quick, wasn't it?
No.
It was like she lifted like that. There was no, sort of turnover.
You don't see anything, do you?
Yeah.
It's so rapid.
Yeah.
I can't wait to
Incredible
see where
lifter.
she goes, I think I can't wait to see where she ends up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Sarah Davies went over there as well. Did we have any other GB lifters there, do you know? Freya at the beginning.
Yeah, other than that, I don't think so. Oh, where is Aaron?
No,
she
she
competed
was
in
English, yeah.
Yeah, it must have been those 2.
And, not to go too far off topic, I haven't seen Toma lift at any of these things.
No.
She lifted at one where she took her shoes and her belt off. And she entered at the last Grand Prix, but she entered the 60 total and didn't lift. She just weighed in and drug tested.
Yeah, but you said something interesting about how the stuff that she'd been posting wasn't necessarily
Yeah, she
sort
seemed...
of weightlifting-y or favourable to... There was always a bit of a tinge to something, so maybe
There was certainly some stuff earlier in the year that was much more... I was reading it and sort of taking it as like a... I'm not a performing monkey, sort of. I'm not going to... It felt like she wasn't in it so much anymore. Yeah, maybe not. She did recently post something about the life of a lifter. She did like a reel about the life of the lifter, but I haven't seen...
Sitting on the sofa, getting up, sitting on the sofa, training, sitting on the sofa. Yeah.
But I haven't seen any training from her.
No.
So unless she's just keeping it under wraps. But she's got to do... She's going to try and qualify. But then again, the other conversation we had before about Toma was there's a lot of talent in Romania now, isn't there?
Yeah.
And there was the time when she was the talent for Romania, but now there's a lot of the female lifters in Romania are strong.
Yeah, she's
really strong.
Victim of her own success by inspiring so many other girls out there.
Yeah.
That she's got quite a few understudies who are trying to knock her off her throne.
Yeah, it's just a selfish question because I'd like to see her in Paris, that's all.
Love to see her in Paris.
Yeah.
It would
Part of the reason I got the tickets
Yeah.
was, particular couple of lifters that I would really like to qualify, and if they don't qualify, I'd be mad. But Toma was one of them.
But yeah, so other than that, I think there's not a great more deal that we need to talk about.
No, not really. I know that BWL have put out a feedback link. So if you're at the English and you've got any feedback, it'd be great to sort of give them that, because it's nice that they're putting in a lot of effort to try and make changes. And I think if you've got comments, most of the athletes that we spoke to were loving it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, as well as I think any feedback that you can give on some of the other things that we talked about recently, so the 3 rests or 1.
Yeah.
There's also the question about whether national records should be broken with a when a tier 3 event where there's a one ref. I personally don't think that should be, but
they were also asking for feedback on competition variations at tier 3. So if you had any ideas about different ways to run competitions, and I think I didn't read too much into that, but my initial thoughts were sort of like the oh god, what's that gym there lower? CrossFit gym.
Oh, Slevin.
That's it. Slevin did was it lift off or something like that, and it was like clean front squat, power something.
Yep.
And you were just on a platform.
Saw Mikey from lower doing
it. Mikey did it. Yeah.
It's the sort of thing he loves, isn't it?
So things like that. I think it was sort of a what can we do that's not a traditional weightlifting comp, but we could try and put some variation in. Have you got any ideas? And if you wanted to volunteer as a club to be part of a trial, so if you've got any ideas.
Yeah, and to be fair, actually, there's one thing I did notice that I think towards the end of the weekend, I think the speakers and the systems probably, but you start to flag, and certainly there were some dead spots. The music wasn't on, the 2-minute gap, sort of 2-minute between when people are following on from themselves. It was noticeable for me when when I looked around at the crowds, and it was like, we need something to break this up. It shouldn't be down to the speaker. There should be something else, and I don't mean the performing monkey, but
it's something to think about, isn't it?
Yeah.
And another place where I'm going to plug for people to volunteer, because so many people were there all weekend. I saw coaches, athletes, and what's nice is seeing the athletes on the competition platform and then in the warm-up area as coaches, and I think that's great when they're sort of hybrid rolling. But if they also had their TO license, they could sit in for a session, because it shouldn't be on the speaker, but there were 2 speakers, and there were 3 days, and it's a lot of speaking.
One thing you mentioned in the car on the way back, we were trying to sort of think of things that would what she found, it's the cat, think of ways to incentivize people to come and TO.
Yes,
and you said that maybe they could get a discount on the entry. So for a lifter that's got a TO license, then they pay, they get 25% off or 50% off if they do one session, 3 sessions or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. I think that's a really easy win, because if for the amount of lifters that are there during the day, if all you do is you've got the people like us that will do the whole weekend, and quite gladly.
Always.
But it would be nice to be able to have a bit of a break and go for lunch without
have a wee.
Ram us.
No, I go to the bathroom. Honestly, drink some water.
Luxury.
That day when I was back to back for the Marshall's table, I was grey by the time I was done for not having a drink.
Yeah, struggled big time on that one.
Anyway, not that I'm complaining, because I will gladly do it. But if people picked up one session,
it just gives us a chance to slope off quickly.
Yeah, so it's not
just relax.
Yeah, I'm never sort of expecting people to lift and then give a whole day, or coaches to coach all day Saturday and then give all day Sunday for the TO. Like us TOs are here for the bulk of it. But if you've got an hour free, even if you've just got an hour free to sit and help on a Marshall station, or to bring people a bottle of water, there's things like that I think are quick wins. But that is something that at some point I will mention to Matt. I think whether or not it's feasible, obviously I don't understand necessarily what happens in the back BWL finance wise, but it seems like a quick win to me. Money off entry fee if you commit to a session to TO.
But yeah, any other great suggestions and comp format type
Yeah.
things, please let them know. And let us know, because I'd be interested to chat about them, see
Yeah.
what people think.
My only other thing that I wanted to mention, whilst we're talking about TOs, was so this weekend, the other amazing thing that happened was we had 2 of our BWL level 3 TOs qualify or sit their invigilations for IWF Cat 2.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, we had Lynette
And Paul.
and Paul. Yeah.
So congratulations to those 2.
Yeah.
Both
yeah.
passed, so that will be amazing.
Bringing in
for
the new
next year.
change now, because then from the British we had, was it just you at the British?
Yep.
So now there's you, Lynette and Paul. That's 3. 3 new faces. Yeah. Nice. Even it out a bit.
Yes. Yeah, so hopefully, so I'm going to try and put my name in, throw my hat in the ring for the World Championships, Junior World Championships, which is in youth.
The Youth World Championships and
in Peru.
Yeah. And the
Great.
European Juniors.
Which would be awesome,
In
and that's in Greece.
So yeah, fingers
hopefully
crossed.
one of those.
Yeah. That would be great.
Yeah.
Particularly Peru. Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, congrats guys.
Yeah, well done.
It's always nice. Well, yeah, I think that's it really.
That's a wrap.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
What's our next comp? That'll be in the new year.
Ooh, unless we do any tier 3s, which tend to just pop up, don't they? We don't always know about those too far in advance.
I might have signed you up for one on the 23rd.
Oh, we were both there, Mems.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did both say we were going to do that, didn't we, when we were at dinner?
And that, I'm
It's
glad we
charity,
mentioned that.
Yeah.
That is in aid of George Mose, who was an amazing lifter, but coached at Bethnal Green for donkey's years.
Yeah.
So, George died not last year.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it would have been last year, 2022, I think it was. Sorely missed. A legend of British weightlifting, and certainly the London area. So, if you're not busy, look at MEMS for the 23rd of December. Come along and watch some
spectate, compete,
fun lifting, because it will be a great session, that's for sure.
Yeah, so we're going to do that one on the 23rd then.
Yeah.
And then I think the next one would be, the next BWL one will be age groups, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favourites. That's probably the next one in February.
Yeah,
Maidstone, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. And the next podcast, hopefully we're going to have a guest. Watch this space.
Did we mention it already?
Well, I'm not going to mention which guest, because who knows what order they're going to come in at this point.
That's true, yeah.
But there will be a guest. we have a guest list now, so one of them we'll pin down.
Yeah.
But yeah, awesome. All right, guys. Cheers.
Take care.
Done.
Done.
Winning.
Oh my God.